This moment on Fox and Friends on Fox News is so incredible, and it got pretty darn uncomfortable and heated. So Steve Ducey is one of the individuals on the panel that comes on the air every morning on Fox and Friends. And so is Brian Kilmeade. And you can tell in a lot of their interactions that Steve Ducey, while he's still a conservative, he's still a Fox News person, he's a little bit more moderate than Brian Kilmeade is. And so on some of these things, he just can't take the false narratives that are being run, and he speaks out against them, and it enrages Brian Kilmeade. So take a look at this interaction, just truly good on the part of Steve Ducey, again, someone who normally goes along with all these narratives but couldn't in this situation. And it's all in relation to the Hunter Biden Twitter files, Elon Musk story, where they dropped the big Twitter files bombshell it was supposed to be, and all it really revealed was that the Joe Biden campaign, when Biden wasn't even in the government, sent a request to Twitter asking for them to take down nude photos of Hunter Biden, which was against Twitter's terms of service. And Twitter respected that request as they respected the request of the Trump White House on different stories, where the Trump White House had reached out and asked a similar favor on other things, and Twitter had said yes. So why they care about the not government official, but they don't care about the actual president of the United States making a similar request, is so strange. But again, here is Steve Ducey pushing back on the Fox News narrative.
I don't know exactly what Ted Cruz is talking about, because he mentioned the FBI right there. But if you read all of Matt Taibbi's posts, the thread, you can see what perhaps he's alluding to, but Ted is wrong. Matt Taibbi, his 20-second thread said, although several sources recalled hearing about a general warning from federal law enforcement that summer about possible foreign hacks, there's no evidence that I've seen of any government influence in the laptop story. In fact, that might have been the problem.
Right. So then this part of it, and then you'll see how it continues, is in relation to the claims that Ted Cruz was making, as was played previously on Fox and Friends, that this is some big government suppression of free speech, which it wasn't, because it was, as I just highlighted, Biden who was running for president, who wasn't in the government at the time. And Matt Taibbi admits there's no evidence, with all of the documentation that was given over to him to write this story, that law enforcement, federal agencies had directed any particular action at Twitter. So I'll let it continue.
So according to the guy who Elon Musk gave all the secrets to, he said, I don't see federal law enforcement involved in the laptop story at all.
Well, maybe they weren't, and we'll get answers when oversight, because these Republicans are taking.
But wait a second. How could that be the case? Is the FBI part of the government?
Yeah,
of course.
Did the FBI get the laptop? Did they go ahead and brief these major social media companies about not doing certain things and suppressing certain things?
In the run-up to the election, we heard, and we talked about from this couch, warnings from the Department of Homeland Security and federal law enforcement that given what happened in 2016, they might try it again. We heard that. But Matt Taibbi, who has seen everything, said federal law enforcement not involved in Twitter and the laptop story.
All right.
Period.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get answers. They're sending these letters out. They're going to ask these guys to come in and talk to them and find out what they knew.
So we shouldn't believe the tweets that were put out. I mean, it's bizarre. As Elon Musk says.
That's just what one person says.
Right.
We don't know.
Who covered it. But Elon Musk says there's no doubt about it. They have, there was election meddling from what he's seen so far.
Right, but I think he's referring to big tech. And big tech obviously had their finger on the scale when it came to Joe Biden.
And where's the DNC in all of this? They were involved in this too, the DNC.
Yeah, because people at the DNC were coordinating with the Biden campaign. And the Biden campaign was then coordinating with Twitter.
But if the FBI tells...
Okay, I'll stop it there. But the funny thing that wasn't even highlighted there is, okay, so if it's so wrong for the DNC / the Biden campaign to reach out to Twitter and say, hey, this post is against your terms of service, you should take it down, this content shouldn't be there, and them respecting that. If that's so wrong, then why is it not wrong for them to get a request from the President of the United States asking for them to do something on their platform and them complying. Because if you want to make this a conversation about free speech, the First Amendment, then the only thing you should care about is the government's effect on Twitter, right? And as was partially highlighted there by Steve Doocy, the most we've gotten so far from the story of federal law enforcement getting involved in the Hunter Biden story is they sent out kind of a general warning that stories like this one could be Russian disinformation, so be on the lookout. They didn't say take it down off your platform. No evidence has been provided. Matt Taibbi, who got all this documentation, did not make that claim, even though there clearly was kind of a slant in the writing of this piece to try to make the Democratic Party and Biden look bad, and still Matt Taibbi didn't make those claims. And so just the framing of this and the pretending from so many on the right that this is some big bombshell and a suppression of free speech is really strange. And as I said in the initial coverage of the Twitter files, I think there's a real conversation to be had about social media, its role in the political process, how because it's just human beings who moderate and control these platforms and they're subject to their own political biases, how do we make sure that doesn't play too much of a role in our political process? That's all real discussions that should be had, but it's not some conversation about Biden going and election meddling and this stole the election and changed the outcome. Not at all. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get access to an extra full show every Saturday that only members can see, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there is a link in the description.